just weary of Texas Roadhouse, but no, I keep hearing about it. It's just so out of character for me. Next, I'll be at Olive Garden,
Yeah, that's a different conversation. But this is, I'm not, I guess, as picky as you when it comes to
No, we've had this conversation, Mario.
Yeah.
You can't take offense to anything I say when it comes to food, because I'm
No.
a ridiculous food snob and a picky eater.
I don't, and I told you I had a great weekend, and that was a good part of it. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I mentioned the Roadhouse. I'm like, you're like the 10th person that tells me, no, it's good, and not just like somebody that has no idea. So that's why I'm, you kind of know what's going on.
And we've talked Texas Roadhouse for 2.5 minutes and have not brought up the rolls. That's like
that's their number one thing.
That's what
that was like the Red Lobster gimmick. I'd never gone to Red Lobster, but that like cheddar biscuit is supposedly like the dope.
No, I remember working on a radio show. We made like a tier list, and both those places were in like the S tier of pre-dinner bread. They had the best bread. One sweet, one savory.
So you're telling me the Texas Roadhouse has some kick butt bread, you're telling me?
In my opinion,
it's just hot and buttery?
It's like a sweet. Yeah, it's a sweet roll.
Yeah, it's like one of those Hawaiian sweet rolls.
Yes.
Those are good.
With a little cinnamony butter.
Wow. Tonight I'll be at Texas Roadhouse, and next week Olive Garden. After that, it'll be TGI Fridays for the bourbon steak night.
Hell yeah.
Skillet style.
No TGI Fridays near here. Gotta go to Guatemala.
Metairie, huh?
No.
Metarie's closed down?
Yeah, it's what's it called? The Fiery Crab now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's a Fiery Crab.
Wow. 90 degrees feels like 93 degrees. I must be in the heat. I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Especially when I went to Lebanon's Cafe today for lunch, a to-go order from Lebanon's Cafe. Yummy. They're 7 days a week. They open up at 11, and they don't close till 9:30. They're open throughout the day. Yeah, I got a little chicken shawarma. So good. That chicken breast on that spigot, spinning over the infrared heat, and they just slice off, the little thin layers of chicken. So good. Lebanon's Cafe by the streetcar barn. Yeah, 90 degrees feels like 93. Rain. It's funny. I have my little show sheet for Monday. And I guess I got it started hours ago because I'm like, rain forecasted all week long, next 7 days. Literally, like through the rest of this week, through the weekend to Monday, rain expected every day. Like a low percentage chances, like 30 to 40%. Some of the days are like 60, 70%. Now, right away I wrote, doubtful it rains every day. Today was supposed to be a rain day. And lo and behold, Mario Brothers, a.k.a. Latinx, we've got a little rain going on outside. I don't know if it's major or not, but definitely I had to turn on the windshield wipers on the vehicle. Let me put it to you this way. You can look on the street and see that it rained. That kind of gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of gimmick, LSU baseball back to Omaha. College World Series down to 8 teams, the Elite 8. Hey, Mario Brothers, a.k.a. Latinx, running the controls, fielding your phone calls. It's double elimination, till the championship?
I believe so.
Is that a best of 3?
And the championship's a best of 3, yeah.
And you could have a loss and get to the championship game, and that loss is like erased.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, a few years ago, LSU made the final. They had to win like 4 games in 3 days or something.
Yeah, but the advantage is the other team played one less game because they were undefeated, where you had to come out of the elimination bracket to get to the World Series. So you wore out a pitcher. So, and then it's a best 2 out of 3. All right.
Mm-hmm.
LSU baseball back to Omaha. You know what I don't like, Mario Brothers, a.k.a. Latin X? Tennessee and Arkansas play, in like the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
So you have SEC going to knock off an SEC team. Have them play some other conference.
Yeah.
So Tennessee and Arkansas play. Arkansas knocks off Tennessee. Who does LSU play in Omaha? Arkansas. Yeah. It just sucks. It's like LSU plays Arkansas already, maybe for the championship. I remember LSU played Florida. I guess they didn't like that. All SEC. No bueno. A $2 million grocery store study for the lower Ninth Ward. I think the city could have saved a lot of money and just gone to, Rouse's brothers, Donnie Rouse, the Bros from Bromart, Langenstein, Robert. even like national chains like Winn-Dixie, but you definitely could have gone to the local guys where you have a local connection to them. Hey, Donnie, it's, so-and-so with the city of New Orleans. I mean, you could have worked a deal where something the city's already buying, hey, we'll get it from Rouse's instead, and you guys give us that study that you did. And you find out, hey, the study was X amount of dollars that Rouse's did. It was with the so-and-so group out of Atlanta. They did one 4 years earlier for this amount of money with the Joe Blow group out of D.C. Bromart did a study. They did, if you don't think grocery store chains in a capitalistic society in New Orleans, we're a grocery store city. We have so many grocery stores. So many national chains, local chains, like locals that have, 2, 3, 4 outlets or more. And then we've got lots of single standalone grocery stores that are great. So we're a grocery store city. You don't think all of these companies, especially the ones that are expanding, I mean, like Rouse's, like 70 stores now. You don't think Rouse's studied the 9th Ward, New Orleans East? You don't think Robert's has studied the 9th Ward or New Orleans East? You don't think Bromart bought Balestras in Belle Chase, down in Belle Chase, Balestras. That's a Bromart now. Belle Chase folks know that. You don't think Bromart's looked into lower 9th Ward and New Orleans East? You don't think Rouse's has looked at that old Schwegman's location on empty for 20 years. It's like the size of a Walmart, size of a Lowe's. You don't think they looked at that? Size of a Buc-ees. Oh, boy. How big is a Buc-ees? I say it's like a Walmart, a Home Depot, but just half as deep. Doesn't go all the way, but as wide, half as deep. This Buc-ees in Mississippi, 100 plus gas pumps, brisket on the board, got all kind of goodies. Those Buc-ee nuggets, which I think are like caramel popcorn chunks, little cubes of caramel popcorn, sugary popcorn. How can that be bad? They've got the beef jerky. It might be like a couple of hundred different flavors. Buc-ees is open. We'll be doing live broadcasts tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, not from Buc-ees in southern Mississippi. Oh, boy. But I did get paid $50. Tomorrow from 11 a.m. till 11:45, the Bucky Beaver guy waving you in from the interstate, that will be me. That will be me. That's from 11 to 11:45 tomorrow, honk. If you see Bucky the Beaver, yell, hey, Corey, what's going on in there? I'll be the guy with the ice pack on my back wearing that Bucky the Beaver outfit. We'll have all kind of Bucky's goodies, socks, pants, shirts, and all your favorites. It's Bucky's. We won't be there tomorrow. Come check it out. That Bucky's is going to kill it. That Buc-ees is going to slaughter. It's like one of the largest Buc-ees per square foot. Menge Avenue exit right there in Pass Christian, in North Pass Christian. Buc-ees in southern Mississippi. It's open.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Over office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8388 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, paint ain't paint. We only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to hell. Let us steer you right.
Trey Yen in Mandeville. A New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Waterman Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Waterman Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. Let Waterman Gutters.
As New Orleans is coffee in the morning and as New Orleans is coffee in the morning and raw oysters for lunch, it's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground.
Yeah, you right, Corey Johnson back at you. Mario Brothers, a.k.a. Latinx at the controls, 766-9480 is how you dial us up. 766-9480. Stay hydrated like me. Lots of water, H2O, agua. It's hot out there. 90 feels like 93. We're not even getting cooking yet. You know that, right? We're going to have that feels like 10 degrees or more hotter very soon. But maybe not for the next week or so. Like rain expected every day. And I was going, all right, it ain't going to rain every day. And when I've been getting it necessarily today, and then it started raining a little bit recently, last few minutes. Nothing major, but I don't know. Someone will be like, dude, I'm in West Wego. It's a downpour. Inch an hour. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. UNO to go back to the LSU system. Out of the ULL system. This is kind of weird. When UNO was under the LSU system, it was like LSU Baton Rouge wants to keep UNO down. They're never doing anything to help UNO. They're a little paranoid of UNO for some silly reason when they're the flagship. And UNO's like, got to get out from under the thumb of LSU. We'll be better under this UL system. But then the UL system kind of not expanded quickly, but UL Lafayette, UL Monroe, UL Lafayette all of a sudden sticking their chest out. We're Louisiana. And I remember some LSU folks were like, we're Louisiana State University. You can't be Louisiana. It's like, no, UL is recognized as Louisiana now. In college sports, Louisiana versus whoever. UL Lafayette, they could be just Louisiana. It doesn't matter what LSU thinks. Different system. So they're sticking their chest out, and they're not giving a crap about UNO. UNO's thinking, hey, they'll get in with UL Lafayette. UNO's got a larger enrollment than UL Lafayette. At the time they did. But then UL Lafayette enrollment expanded. UNO's went way down. And so they're not getting any help there. So it's back to the LSU system. And LSU, their schools have huge enrollment gains lately. LSU is, when I was at LSU, it was like a little over 30,000 students, 32,000 students. That was like that from the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, 2010s. And just recently, LSU is up in the mid to high 30s, like 36, 37, 38,000 students and growing. And that's a good thing. That's how it's supposed to be. Stuck at 32,000 for 30 years. When LSU was at 32,000, Alabama was at 18. Alabama's at 40,000 now. And everybody, because folks like assuming, and they're not all wrong, they're half right, half wrong. Boy, Nick Saban and Alabama football put Alabama on the map, and that's how it took off. It predates. You can look at the enrollment numbers. It predates Saban. Saban spiked them. They kept going up, but they started going up around 2001 before Saban got there because Alabama focused on academics. They said, we're gonna allow any national merit scholar in America to attend the University of Alabama for free. And today they have more national merit scholars at the University of Alabama than any other university in the country, any other public university. Now, a few years ago, I don't know if it's still the case, when they're having ridiculous growth because they went from 18,000 to 40,000 students, they were cutting a ribbon on a new academic building every 75 days, just churning out academic building after academic building, redefining the campus. People that hadn't been there in 10, 15 years go back to like, don't even recognize it. No, they dedicated themselves. LSU sat stagnant. Now LSU is proactively growing, and they should be. But then you look at UNO, the University of New Orleans. By default, UNO should have tens of thousands of students. They should have a regional national recruiting base by default being the University of New Orleans, and it really should be international. UNO should be aggressively pursuing national and international students, selling them on the city of New Orleans and an education in the South, getting into some nice subtropical weather year round. You can go back home during the winter. During the summer. Get out of New Orleans for June, July, and August. Come back in for the fall semester and the spring semester. It's like perfect. It's perfect. The University of New Orleans. Now, I'm not knocking Kathy Johnson. I'm trying to get her on the show. But UNO needs the thinking or the mentality or the people like from the University of South Florida, the University of Central Florida. These were like commuter schools in Tampa and Orlando, respectively. They were like a UNO. Then they went from regional to kind of statewide. When I say regional, I mean like the Metro Tampa area and a little bit beyond that, the Metro Orlando area and a little bit beyond that. Then they went statewide. Then they started recruiting, regionally outside of Florida, regionally, and then nationally and internationally. And now those schools have much larger enrollment, each one, than Florida State or the University of Florida. South and Central Florida are like Ohio State size, like 70,000 students. UNO should be like 20, 30, 40,000 students. Think about what that would do for New Orleans' economy. Anyway, UNO going back to the LSU system, getting an infusion of much-needed cash. And at LSU, folks are like, it's about enrollment, growing the enrollment, where 20 years ago, nearly 18,000 students on the lakefront. It was bustling. Now it's like 6,000, maybe 6,000. 1/3 from 20 years ago, that's beyond disheartening. shouldn't UNO be by default, the University of New Orleans be a viable university and an economic engine for the city? 766-9480. 766-9480. Are you heading to Buc-ees in Mississippi? Are you making a special trip? Mario Brothers Latinx. We all know someone that goes to Disney World in Orlando 30, 40 times, like it's been a bunch. I know not one, but two ladies that have been, all they do is go there. They don't go to California. They don't go to New York. They don't go to Europe. They don't go to South America. They don't go to Asia. They go to Orlando, Florida, and specifically Disney World over and over and over, maybe twice, 3 times a year. Mm-hmm. Could be for 3-4 days, could be for a week. They're going over and over again. There are people that do this, that are locked into that. And they're normal people we work with, we associate with. Both these people, one of them was running a company that I dealt with all the time, and one of them was in radio, was a producer. They both go to Disney World all the time. Their offices, Mickey Mouse, all characters, love Disney World. Buc-ees has the same type of obsession. It's like a Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
People are locked and loaded. They are club members. They're going. They want to go. Now, I think Buc-ees is a lot of mom and dad in the minivan, in the car, in the SUV, whatever, driving on vacation. And you got the Bucky the Beaver billboards coming up on 100 miles. And everybody's excited. And they go to Buc-ees and they spend 45 minutes in there and they spend a few $100 and fuel up the car. And they all went to Buc-ees. It was part of the trip.
Mm-hmm. College kids too.
Yep. A week of this. Go to college kids hitting the Buc-ees.
Yep.
But I also think there are folks that love the Beaver and love Buc-ees, and where it's located, you're going to have residents of Pass Christian, Bay St. Louis, Waveland, Diamond Head, all of those, Gulfport, Biloxi, driving to that Buc-ees on the interstate at the Men's exit.
Oh, yeah, they've been waiting for this.
They've been waiting for it. It's in between Pass Christian and Gulfport on I-10, right past Pass Christian, closer to Pass Christian than Gulfport. Less than an hour drive from your driveway to the Buc-ees driveway in Mississippi. Less than an hour. I don't care if you're in Kenner, French Quarter, Mid-City. New Orleans East, you're probably 40 minutes to the Buc-ees. Slidell, you're 30 minutes to Buc-ees. I went to Buc-ees once, the one outside of Houston. I might accidentally go to this Buc-ees in Mississippi, but I know you, Mario Brothers, aka Latinx, you and your old lady, you're going to Buc-ees soon. It's on your plan, your calendar.
It's inevitable, yes.
It's going to happen in the next few weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
A month at the worst.
Yeah. Summertime, 100%.
Guess what? Miss Peaches, same thing. Her and her husband, they can't wait to go to Buc-ees. Will you have a Buc-ees t-shirt, you think, in this studio one day?
Probably.
I will make fun of you that day.
Or if not, the plush animals you could buy. People love those as a souvenir.
The brisket looks pretty good. Have you had the brisket?
The brisket's good there.
It is good?
Yeah, I've had the brisket sandwich on the way back from games. It's good.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Hot?
Yes, hot.
Nice.
I'm not a big fan of the nuggets. I won't lie. People love those.
Aren't those just caramel popcorn?
Yeah, I'm not a big sweets person.
Well, you don't like sweets.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you like caramel corn, you'd like them, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're just sugary, decadent nuggets, right?
You'd probably like them.
Yeah, exactly. Especially on a Sunday when I can have all that sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Buc-ees is open in Mississippi. Are you going? 766-9480. 766-9480. What the racetrack is to a Circle K, Buc-ees is to a racetrack. If you're like, damn, a racetrack has 20 pumps, the Circle K has 2. The racetrack must be 5-6 times the size, 7-8 times the size of the Circle K. That's Buc-ees. Instead of 12 pumps, 120 gas pumps, like 120. Crazy. 766-9480. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday afternoon. Are you heading to Buc-ees? Yeah, this $2 million for the grocery store study in the lower 9th Ward blows my doors off. City of New Orleans funding it through NORA. I think they spent $600,000 on the study. There's like 1.4 million left to like lure a grocer to the lower Ninth Ward to New Orleans East. I think it's kind of an organic capitalism thing. There's a reason they're not there.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call now. Get out of that gutter and get on the Audubon Gutters.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Carrollton, Riverbend, Holly Grove, Gerttown, Gentilly, Lakefront, West Bank, Lakeview. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Also questions, 766-9480. UNO going to the LSU system. They're going to give them an infusion of cash. That's a fact. Their goal is to get UNO's enrollment back up like it used to be. Are you confident UNO can get their enrollment up? I don't think that's a problem. I mean, it's a fixable thing. It's not like it's almost like it has nothing to do with the city. It's its own thing. That's the beauty of it. The city thriving or not. I mean, yeah, thriving, bustling city would be better. But it's a university. So I just think that's great news, and I think it's easy to get the enrollment up. 766-9480. Buc-ees open in Mississippi. Are you going? 766-9480. $2 million. Well, $600,000, I believe, spent on this study about a grocery store in the lower Ninth Ward, New Orleans East. Why is there no grocery store in the lower Ninth Ward or New Orleans East Store? Not very many. Why is it a grocery desert? Food store desert. 766-9480. We head to Slidell. Larry joins us. What's happening, Larry?
What you say, Corey?
What's up, bro?
Oh, man. Love when you talk UNO. You're one of the only ones who ever does. UNO, went to UNO for graduate school at night. It has been instrumental in my career success. Didn't spend a whole lot of money on it compared to some others, and felt like I got a good bang for my buck. So I got a lot of affection for UNO, and I root for them and want just the school to thrive. I hope the LSU system. I guess I'd ask why they never moved out of the LSU system. I thought it was because they were tired of playing second fiddle to LSU. I don't remember why.
No, that's right. That's exactly right. I mean, the school was originally LSUNO. Like there's LSUE, there's Eunice, LSUS, Shreveport. There's LSUNO, Louisiana State University in New Orleans. And then UNO in the 70s broke away from the LSU part, just became UNO, having kind of their own identity, but still under the thumb of LSU. And LSU was never going to let UNO thrive. Always going to be second fiddle. No, now it's different times. And I think, the LSU system has cash compared to the UL system, so they can take on UNO in this debt. And they feel they can grow it and grow enrollment, which they've done for other schools. So we'll see.
I remember, Corey, before Katrina, UNO had some satellite classes for degree-seeking students, like that's in Slidell, like in an old building somewhere.
No. Slidell, in Metairie, on the North Shore, I think, in Mandeville or Covington. No, that's 100% right. They might have even had a West Bank campus. Like when I say campus, like in an old building where professors could go and students could sit in a classroom and learn. Yep, no doubt.
And I just, even if it's like they advertise their MBA program, which is great. They used to have an MBA program in, Kingston, Jamaica, I think. It was just, world. It was, international almost.
No,
I feel like if they
post Katrina, Tulane got rid of their engineering school. UNO has an engineering school in their newest, most modern building. There's just there's a lot going for UNO, and it should be blowing up. Just ridiculous growth, not what's happening, and it just needs a change in direction and leadership. I mean, how many schools would like to be known as the University of New Orleans? I mean, that's gravy right there. That's lagniappe. That's just enrollment by default. You have to almost have a blueprint on how to screw it up.
Well, and I don't know why they don't. I'm not in tourism, but where else would you be better suited to learn the tourism business than here? I mean, who does tourism better than we do?
No, that
like UNO, where you can learn from world class people who know how to do tourism.
No, I mean, if you want to be a meteorologist around this region, you go to Mississippi State. If you want to be in the hotel industry, you go to UNO. That hospitality school's top notch. No, you're right.
I hope they. I give them a few dollars, when I can. But they it's great value. I really hope that they figure out how to make it thrive. The other question, Corey, about the Ninth Ward, man, these grocery stores have got to be paying somebody to do market studies that say, there's just not enough demand. I'm assuming, if there was one, you'd think a Walmart, a Rouse's, a Langen, somebody would put one up there. And maybe they figure the people go to Chalmette, they go to.
You got like a Winn-Dixie on Chef Highway, but that's, upper Ninth Ward. And then you've got like in the Ninth Ward in New Orleans East, all you've got is like, and this is beyond the Ninth Ward, really. It's like that Winn-Dixie way out on Chef. I'm not talking about the one like Chef by Gentilly, talking like Chef out like in the Far East, out by like Bullard and Chef. Yep. And then you've got like that Walmart grocery store super center thing. And I guess what's that, Bullard and I-10?
Yep.
So that you don't have really anything in between there and, the industrial canal, except little kind of BS mom and pop shops that might have some bananas and oranges or apples or something, might have like some deli meat or something. They just don't have a lot of things. And it's definitely a grocery or food desert. It would be unfortunate living out there because you'd have to travel all the time just to go to the grocery store. But no, like you said, there's a reason. Why are there no grocery stores out there? Why is there this void? Now, the article basically answered it. Like 54% of the population from 20 years ago is, I shouldn't say 54% is gone, 46% is gone. 54% remains, I think is what it said. Either 54% remains or 54% is gone. Either way, so it's like half the people aren't there anymore, half the population. It was a lower middle class to poor, upper poor population to begin with. So, I mean, there's a reason why there's not a lot of retail period out there except little kind of, these little BS little shops and trinket stores, and you have to go somewhere else, Chalmette or Metairie or Slidell, to do some serious shopping because there's not a lot of disposable income out there. New Orleans East in general, including like Eastover and the affluent areas, people that have houses worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe someone who has a house worth north of $1 million out there. The average income for a family of four is $10,000 less there than the rest of New Orleans. So throw all these factors in, I think it's just not economically viable for a lot of retailers, sadly.
Yeah, and it's disappointing. If we ever elected a leader and that would make their Mansell, New Orleans Eastern, I don't know what, if I had the answer, obviously I'd run, but, I don't know. Sure, it's a multi-pronged answer to fix that part of town. But, man, if someone ever made that their priority, New Orleans East, we're going to make that, even if it's just 10% better than when they get into office. That could be a freaking storybook. But anyway, Corey, look.
Yeah, you're right. Larry, thanks for the call in Slidell. Thanks. No, New Orleans East is like a lump of clay. People just roll their eyes at New Orleans East. The thing is, you need something that's transformative for New Orleans East. And it could be like, a car plant or some major manufacturer that's employing a few thousand folks, like a second Michoud type of thing. But what would really be something great for New Orleans East, and I'm not saying that wouldn't be, that would be tremendous, that would be the best thing. But just think about these two things. Think of the Six Flags site. If it were a Bass Pro Shop Cabela's, like a big Bass Pro Shop Cabela's, the Six Flags site. And think if the old Lowe's, which is now like a Goodwill store, think if that was like an IKEA furniture store. Just hypothetical. Now, you can sit there and go, these retailers aren't going out to New Orleans East. There's too much crime. There's no crime on I-10 and I-510 at Six Flags because there's nothing out there. So there's no crime out there. And Bass Pro Shops, if they were approached and properly sold on the idea, hey, you're not launching boats into a fake lake next to your building. You're launching boats into real marsh, real waters, real bayous, real lagoons. You're 15 minutes from fresh, brackish, and salt water. It's the Sportsman's Paradise location. You got the whole Six Flags site. Build a monster. You just bend over backwards for them like Memphis did with the pyramid. The old sports arena is a Bass Pro Shop. That's a transformative thing. If you think, I'm just saying, Billy Ed, white redneck, pickup truck driving, used to have the Confederate flag in the back of his truck with shotguns on the back rack by the window of the back of his truck, isn't going to drive to I-10 and I-510 to go to the Bass Pro Shop Cabela's. If he's a hunter or fisherman, you're delusional. You're crazy. They'll flock to New Orleans East, hunters and fishermen wanting to go to a Bass Pro Shop.
Rob in New Orleans.
An IKEA at the Plaza site? An IKEA at the Plaza site? People don't care. In Kenner, Baton Rouge, Jackson, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, they want to go to IKEA. They're driving in, getting off at Reed and pulling into that parking lot. Don't care about it. It's New Orleans East. They're not even thinking about that. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday afternoon. Every day, this program on radio. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. If you forget those frequencies, just go to CoreyTalks.com. CoreyTalks.com. It's got all the info, like where we are on television, Cox Channel 4, Spectrum Channel 333, our YouTube channel, Corey Talks, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. It's always brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebra and Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Elmwood. Coming right back to your phone calls. Don't move.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The vibe of the Crescent City, Corey Johnson.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, so.
In Metro New Orleans on 93.9 FM and 107.9 FM. Also from Baton Rouge to Pensacola, Florida on 600 AM and 1560.
What's a good point, Mario Brothers? That the liner was fat, drunk, and stupid's no way to go through life. And I said, why? And you said, good point. What were you replying to? My why or the first part?
Yeah, no, your why.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Why not? There you go.
At
There's
least
Mario.
one of those things. Moderation, right?
Moderation. Fat, drunk, and stupid. I don't know if there's moderation on this. Oh. Let's head to the phone lines. 766-9480. Will UNO get a boost going to the LSU system? They're going to infuse them with cash, try to up enrollment. That sounds good to me. At least there's like a goal. Why is there no grocery stores in the lower ninth ward? Why is it a grocery store desert? 766-9480. Are you going to Buc-ees? Rob joins us in New Orleans. Rob, I hear you're on the way to Buc-ees right now.
No. I mean, I might get gas there because they have like 500 gas pumps someday. But no, I was listening to the guy who just called, and his second thing he brought up was New Orleans East, and he said, if somebody was in charge of it, that he said, or you or him said, lump of clay, unlimited potential. Then I thought, who's in charge of that?
No one.
Oliver Thomas. Oliver Thomas is running for mayor. And I'm like, what has he done in New Orleans East? I mean, like the Lincoln Beach thing hasn't broken ground. There's been a lot of complaints about tire dumping. If you go off those exits, at the edge of New Orleans East, I saw Oliver Thomas on TV complaining about him, saying, we need money. And I'm thinking any 14-year-old kid could put a camera up there. And anyway, so there is someone in New Orleans East, and he's running for mayor. But I thought that made me think of something else. With these 10 escaped convicts, or 2 still on the loose, if Oliver Thomas wins mayor, because I remember when he got convicted for bribery after Katrina, it was a real shame for the city in the national media. The headline will be, ex-con wins in the city of escaped convicts. Anyway, that just hit me, because there's a picture of him in an orange jumpsuit. But so to your caller's point before, if there was someone in charge of New Orleans East, what has Oliver Thomas done in New Orleans East? I'm going to hang up and listen.
Rob, thanks so much. No, there is a sickness in New Orleans and in Louisiana, Rob, where I don't know what it is, honestly. It's a sickness where we settle for second rate, where we don't want to be best, where it's hard to compete. And it works on both sides. I mean, it works on both sides. It's sickening. It's disheartening. I'll never forget. I'm running for council at large. It's like 2007. I'm sitting with a very successful executive in radio who handles multiple stations and multiple accounts. I'm making a big buy to run my ads for like a week on this cluster of stations. This woman happens to be black, and we're just chit-chatting after we made the buy. And I was like, forget her name. And Brenda, who are you voting for? She's like, oh, I really haven't decided. I'm like, Brenda, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Who are you voting for in the race? She goes, I'm going to vote for Cynthia Willard Lewis. And I said, okay, Cynthia Willard Lewis, you live in the East, name 3 things Cynthia Willard Lewis done that's improved your life all these years, her in charge. And she just kind of chuckled and couldn't come up with anything, nothing, not even, well, we had this one time a broken street, and they got the street people there quick, and they fixed the broken hydrant. Nothing, couldn't come up with a single thing. So I said, wow, that's amazing. And I was like, where do you live in the East? And she said, oh, I live in Laplace now. After Katrina, we moved to Laplace. I just still vote in the East right now. I'm like, oh, are you moving back? She's like, oh, no. I'm not moving back to the East. We love Laplace. The East was a big problem. So literally, she's voting for Cynthia Willard Lewis at the time, the incumbent, who hadn't done anything for the East, couldn't name anything that she's done, has literally left the East from post-Katrina, moved to Laplace, likes Laplace better, like never going back to the East. We like Laplace better. The East has problems. The East lacks leadership. The East can't get anything done, all this stuff, but still voting for the old person. So it's like, wow. And then a lot of folks think, want to bring race into it or whatever. And I just think, no, it has nothing to do with race, because the exact same thing, you talk to some people in Metairie, they love Harry Lee. They love Harry Lee, greatest sheriff. If Harry Lee was around, we wouldn't have the crime problem. I'm just going to state a fact for you Harry Lee lovers, just how it is, not making this up, not my opinion, just a fact. Every day, every week, every month, every year, every decade, because it was multiple decades, Harry Lee was sheriff of Jefferson Parish, crime got worse. Every day, every week, every month, every year, every decade he was in charge, crime only increased in Jefferson Parish. Yet these folks will be like, love Harry Lee, greatest ever. Where do you live in Jefferson? We live in Mandeville. We live in Covington. Had to get away from the South Shore and all that crime. Wow. You were just telling me you love Harry Lee and he's a great crime fighter and you moved to the North Shore. Still love Harry Lee, though. Lady out in Laplace, still voting for Cynthia Willard Lewis in the East. Left the East because of the crime and lack of leadership, staying in Laplace. These are real life anecdotes. No, we have people that black and white, Republican and Democrat, trump anything else. And they're extreme in their attitude in voting. And they're like normal people, a lot of them. Except when you get into politics. That's why, the old saying, my mom never told me this, but your mama told you don't talk politics and religion. No, just because you're never going to find someone that lines up 100% with you on either one of those topics.
I kind of hate that saying. I wish people would just be able to, accept different viewpoints, but whatever.
Well, it's accepted. That's fine, accepting other viewpoints. But then it gets into disagreeing with your viewpoint. Your viewpoint's illogical. How can you say it's Allah when it's Jesus? How can you say it's Jesus when it's God? So it starts getting in all kind of, and then politically that's a little too left for me, Mario Brothers, aka you're too right on that one.
Exactly.
You can't, the stars are never going to always line up. Hey, guess what's coming up next? The 5 o'clock power hour. Yep. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way next. A lot of rain expected in the next week. You got good gutters on your house or business? Audubon Gutters will tighten you up. AudubonGutters.com. They've been at it for nearly 35 years. All they do are gutters. What's that, Blue Boy? We got Audubon Gutters put on our house back in October. What do you mean our house? It's your house. I just pay the mortgage and pay for the gutters and stuff, but we can call it our house. I appreciate you including me in on that, Blue Boy. AudubonGutters.com. That's Blue Boy. What up, buddy? Tell folks to stick around. 5 o'clock powwow now.
Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, dude, right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. We have the 5 o'clock power hour in front of us on a Monday. 5 o'clock power hour on this Monday brought to you by Young's Dry Cleaning. 85 years of excellence, a New Orleans institution since 1940. Tired of your dry cleaner? It is New Orleans. You want to experience the best? YoungsDryCleaning.com. YoungsDryCleaning.com. I'll say it again. Tired of your dry cleaner and want to experience the best? YoungsDryCleaning.com. 90 degrees, feels like 93. Rain forecast for all week, like today through next Monday. I doubt it rains every day, but that's the forecast. Today through the week, through the weekend, into next Monday, rain expected every day. Now I say rain expected every day. Let's see. I had the percentages here a second ago. I think it's like the low of like 30%, the high of like 60% maybe. Yeah, 30% today, 50 tomorrow, 50 on Wednesday, 35 on Thursday, 50 on Friday, 45 on Saturday, 45 on Sunday, 35 on Monday. You know, it's not like 80% chance of rain. It's the little cloud. It's not gray, it's white. Doesn't have a big lightning bolt and lots of rain coming out of it. So I doubt it's going to rain every day, but we're expecting a lot of rain for the next week. UNO to go back to the LSU system, getting an infusion of much needed cash. LSU's goal is to get UNO's enrollment up. They had 18,000 students 20 years ago. Now it's like a third of that, like 6,000. Do you believe this move will help UNO? 766-9480. I'm optimistic. 766-9480. Buc-ees is open in Mississippi. Are you going? 766-9480. There's brisket on the board. There's Buc-ees nuggets. There's the beef jerky bar and so much more. 766-9480. Will you be making a destination trip to Buc-ees in Pass Christian? Less than an hour from New Orleans, about 30 minutes from Slidell. 766-9480. Are you going to Buc-ees? A $2 million grocery store study for the lower Ninth Ward. I think they spent $600,000 on the study. They've got like $1.4 million to lure a grocery store or two on board. Why is there no grocery store in the lower Ninth Ward? Why no major grocery store in the lower Ninth Ward? Think about New Orleans and the grocery stores we have. I mean, it's endless. Think about it. Like Rouse's, Robert's, Bromart, Langenstein's. They all have multiple locations. Conseco, multiple locations. They're about to open on Jefferson Highway by the water plant. Some old generic Save-A-Lot store or something like that. I'm missing a bunch. There's so many grocery stores, local Dorignac, standalones. Zappardos. Think about the stretch from the parish, from Dorignac's to Whole Food. Just think about that. You've got Dorignac's. Across the street, you've got Fresh Market. Down the block, you have Rouse's. Across the street from Rouse's, you have Trader Joe's. Down the block from that, you have Whole Food. Down Severn, you have Bromart. I'm missing something. The Winn-Dixie at the parish line. That's 7 grocery stores, 7 different grocery stores from the parish line to Severn. 7 different grocery stores right there. Just crazy. Think about that. That's a lot of grocery stores. There's 7 there. They all make it. The Winn-Dixie at the parish line, the Dorignac's down the block, across the street from the Dorignac's, the Fresh Market. Go past Bonnable, and you've got the Rouse's. Go past Vets to Severn, you got the Whole Food. Across from there, the Bromart. Trader Joe's across from the Rouse's. 7 grocery stores within about 2.5 miles. The parish line to Severn. What is that, 2.5 miles tops? 7. Go down Oak Lawn to Metairie Road. There's a Langenstein's right there. There's 8 grocery stores. Right over by West End, minutes away, Robert's. Right there on Allen Toussaint. That's 9 grocery stores. 9 grocery stores within 5 minutes, 6, 7 minutes of each other. 9. I'm probably missing something. Lakeview Fine Foods over there on Harrison. There's 10. 10 grocery stores. Hell, there's Witchamaniki on Metairie Road by Biblos. That's a Conseco, right? 11 grocery stores. 11 grocery stores within 5, 7, 8 minutes. 11. Lower Ninth Ward, 0. Why is that? 766-9480. 766-9480. When a protest turns violent, it becomes a riot. When you have protesters throwing chunks of concrete off of an interstate overpass down onto police cruisers, that is a full-blown riot. The protest, the message becomes 110% irrelevant. These are criminals attacking police vehicles with rocks. They need to go to jail, and their life needs to be disrupted. Their life needs to be disrupted. You know, I talk about this with animal abuse all the time. People that abuse animals, no, they need their life needs to be adjusted. They go to jail where, wow, they lose their job. Maybe they lose their house, their mortgage. They get kicked out. They didn't pay their rent. They're in jail. Their life is dramatically changed. They won't mess with animals anymore, maybe, because their life turned upside down. Or I don't know, maybe they're just a bunch of excuse-making losers and will blame somebody else for their woes. You start throwing rocks during a protest, the message is irrelevant. Now, I'll tell you another thing. And I'm not just saying this like to, act like this is some mighty thing and I'm trying to embrace it, just how it is. The First Amendment and the right to protest, those things are sacred. Freedom of speech, right to protest, sacred. Hard to, it's hard to see people abusing that privilege we have. You have to respect such an awesome responsibility that we have as Americans, this freedom of speech, the, right to protest lawfully. You can't break the law, no matter how important or how righteous you think your message may be. I'm sure David Duke thinks his Nazi message is of vital importance. No, that's the beauty of America. Everybody has freedom of speech. Everybody has the right to protest. Do you not think I wouldn't want to do my show on the I-10 causeway, middle lane of the interstate right now during drive time? My desk set up, cars locking up their brakes, folks having to go around me, total traffic jam. And I'm sitting there with my headset on, microphone, and my desk, people laying on the horn. I'm just doing my show. You don't think I'd love to do that? Why? Because I'd be arrested. And 4, 6, 8, and 26 would see it. And all these people caught in the traffic jam. It was that Corey Johnson guy. Who is he? I'm going to listen to his show. Ratings would go up. But guess what? I'm breaking the law. So you don't do stupid, goofy stunts like that where you get arrested. And if you do, Corey Johnson goes to jail for a while and his show isn't on the air and his life is disrupted because he endangered people on the interstate. He blocked people trying to get home, inconvenienced other people. He broke the law, a precious law where we have the right to free speech and the right to protest. No, it's sacred. This microphone, this camera, it is a responsibility that I have. Can't just spout off. So no, these protesters, once they turned violent, they cease being protesters. Their message becomes irrelevant, good or bad, right or wrong. Their message becomes irrelevant. They're criminals. They're rioters. They need to be collected and put in jail, incarcerated. Can't break the law, no matter how important or righteous you think your message is. It's terrible. Speaking of, this is sickening. I'm glad we're heading to a break because I don't want to focus it on this. Joseph Boatman, 35, of Hammond, arrested, left his 21-month-old daughter, 21-month-old daughter, year and a half, inside of a car for 9 hours. She died. Supposedly was drinking, got home like 2:30 in the morning after picking up the baby daughter, left her in the vehicle. They retrieved her around noon. Yeah, arrested. Sickening story. Pray for that family and acquaintances and friends.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TMWC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance, keep you cool. TMWC.com, your cool spots.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson, where the grass hasn't been cut in weeks or months. There's a lot of trash and garbage on the neutral ground, maybe even a person or two taking a nap. And oh, someone didn't pick up the dog.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. 766-9480. UNO going back to the LSU system. Will it change the university for the better? I'm talking about UNO. 766-9480. Buc-ees is open in Mississippi. Are you going? 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Love to hear from you. $2 million grocery store study for the lower Ninth Ward. Why is there no grocery store in the lower Ninth Ward? 766-9480. Protests turn violent equal a riot, right? Can't have protesters, rioters throwing rocks and bricks and chunks of concrete off the interstate onto police cruisers. Can't have that. Those folks need to be arrested, need to go to jail, and need to be fined to pay for the damage they caused to the police cruisers. Like every month, every 2 weeks, money taken out of their paycheck when they get out of jail in the future to pay back the vehicles they destroyed. Protesting's fine. Rioting's against the law. Breaking the law, no matter how important or righteous you think your message is breaking the law. 766-9480. Hey, Latinx, a.k.a. Mario Brothers, I know you love sports. I say this to you and any passive sports fan that, like, I'm watching Stanley Cup because it's the finals. I'm watching NBA because it's the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, the U.S. Open is arguably the toughest test in golf. Sometimes it can be the British Open. It's rarely the Masters is the toughest test. And it's never the PGA. It's the U.S. Open. They grow the rough high. They narrow the fairways. They speed the greens up. They try to make it as diabolical as possible. Unlike the Masters, some years the Masters maybe could be equal or even slightly more diabolical if it's a lesser U.S. Open course, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But they're changing the venue every year, and sometimes they just get these sicko out-of-control venues like Oakmont right now. This in Pennsylvania. I don't know if you watch golf or not. You might want to tune in a little Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because you're going to see professional golfers flat out struggling, frustrated, making double bogeys, making shots that amateurs make. No, just some pros are saying this is the toughest golf course on planet Earth, the way it's set up. The toughest test of golf on Earth. Oakmont this weekend for the U.S. Open. The rough is ridiculously thick. Like you drop a ball in, you can't see it unless you're standing over it, which means the pros taking a full hack into that are going to be lucky to get it out of the rough just into the fairway to then go towards the green. And the fairways are very, very narrow. The rough is very, very high. And the greens are slick like a concrete floor, like a pool table, lightning fast. Balls are going to land off the green and roll off the green. There's so much undulation. You don't get it to the top of the green where the flag is. It's going to roll back down into the fairway. Just roll off the green into a trap. Just borderline unfair, but fair, just borderline unfair, diabolical conditions. You know, every week it's the country club pros throwing darts, essentially. You know, 18 under, 20 under, 25 under. At Oakmont this year, will the winner get into red numbers? Yeah, I think so, but not much. The winner of the U.S. Open this week, Sunday, come 5, 6 o'clock might be, if I had to guess right now, 3 under, 4 or 5 under top, like 5 under tops. I don't know how you can put together, you know, maybe a 3 under round, maybe a 2 under round, and then a couple of even par rounds. I just don't see how you're going to get much lower than 3 to 5 under on this course. They may not even get that low. We'll see. We'll see. Just from what I've seen so far on social media and on TV, like they were cutting the rough today, the mowers are jacked up as high as they can. They're just like tipping it so it's flat. And then it's going to grow over the next couple of, this is probably the last time they cut the rough on Monday. So it's going to grow for 3 days. I don't know, maybe they cut it again, but when I say cut it, they're like, it's like tipping it. It's like some long-haired guy. It's like the your boys up the Duck Dynasty cats getting their beard trimmed. See the next episode, you don't know it was trimmed. That's how this rough is. One guy said the course is what? How did he describe it? Not burned out, but like just fully toasted. Like after the tournament on Monday, they're gonna have to just like let this course relax. They're gonna have to water it and tend to it because they have stressed it out. They've stressed out this course. Like physically, the grass, the greens especially, rolling like a 13 or 14 on the step meter, just crazy speed. Anyway, I don't mean to go crazy on golf. I know a lot of folks don't care about golf. My point is, if you like sports, watch the U.S. Open because you're going to watch the greatest players in the world at this game struggle. No one's going to dominate. No one's going to kick this course's rear end. It's survival of the fittest. It's who doesn't get adversely affected the most. Who doesn't get gets the least amount of bad bounces, that kind of thing. Who's playing the best ball? Who keeps the driver in the fairway the most? Because you hit it in the rough, you're going to have to go up and down and make to save par. It's just crazy conditions. No, I love it. I mean, not many sports are like that. Baseball, basketball. I mean, baseball, you change venues. The fields are different. You know, some field might benefit pitching. Some field might benefit hitting. But it's kind of the same. Basketball, hockey, football, exactly the same. Golf changes all the time. Different course, crazy conditions. They set it up differently every time. They could play at Oakmont in another few years. I'm sure they will. I think they've had 10 or 12 U.S. Opens there. The setup won't be exactly the same as this one. This one isn't going to be the same as the last one. Why is there no grocery store in the lower ninth ward? 766-9480. 766-9480. Buc-ees is open in Mississippi. Are you going to get some brisket off the board? 766-9480. 766-9480. UNO going back to the LSU system. They're going to get an infusion of much-needed cash. And enrollment's up at every LSU school, including the flagship in Baton Rouge, like nearly 40,000 students, 38,000 now. Besides the definitive infusion of cash, LSU says they want to increase UNO's enrollment again. UNO had 18,000 students 20 years ago. Now they've got less than 6,000, a third of what they had. 766-9480. Do you believe UNO going to the LSU system will help UNO? 766-9480 is our phone number. That's how you dial us up. Hey, Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, you go to latrim.com. That's how you can look them up. A full listing of jobs available at latrim.com. A career for you at latrim.com. I think chances are pretty good. You go to latrim.com, find a job on that site, and you get hired by Latrim, you'll probably never leave Latrim. There's some employees that have been there for decades and decades. About 1,400 employees strong in Elmwood. They've got a few hundred at their I-12 North Shore facility. East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. Latrim's got you covered with a job, with a career. For a full listing of positions available, go to latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, latrim.com. Corey Johnson with you every day on the radio. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. Make it one of your presets. 93.9 FM. You can also check us out on TV statewide. If you're a Cox subscriber, Cox Channel 4 television, weekdays at 4. Charter, Spectrum television subscribers, Spectrum Channel 333, weekdays at 4. And yeah, we're on YouTube, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Hey, television viewers, we're about to hit straight down 5:30. That means adios until mañana. You can listen at 93.9 FM. You can go to CoreyTalks.com and continue checking out the program. Or on that smart TV, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Doesn't cost a thing to click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yeah, we're rolling until 6 o'clock. Why is there no grocery store in the lower ninth ward? 766-9480. I rattled off like a list of like 11 groceries, like 11 within a little more than 5 minutes, 7, 8 minutes, less than 10 minutes from each other. You separate the farthest two from each other, less than 10 minutes apart. Less than 10 minutes apart. Like almost a dozen grocery stores. Sort of the Lakeview, really veterans to Severn. Veterans to Severn. I threw in a few Lakeview grocery stores because they're close. So you've got like nearly a dozen right there. But then think about what's right there. Old Metairie, New Metairie, Lakeview, Lakefront. I mean, mucho dinero. That probably the most affluent area. I mean, Uptown's pretty damn affluent. Where else has that kind of money? Of Old Metairie, New Metairie right there by the parish line, Lakeview, Lakefront. I mean, hell, Mid-City New Orleans has a lot of money, a lot of people with a lot of cash. Look at those houses right off of City Park Avenue, Allard and all those $1 million homes, $1 million. So there's a lot of money there. Lower Ninth Ward, half the population of 20 years ago. These other areas I just mentioned filled to capacity. And a lot less money in the lower Ninth Ward. No, it sucks. It's unfortunate.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Milwaukee Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the Neutral Ground.
You can say anything you please about me, but don't say anything bad about Blue Boy.
Down, Blue Boy. Good buddy. That's pretty accurate. Why would you be picking on a beautiful, wonderful, friendly basset hound to begin with? He's a good boy. 766-9480 is the phone number. Question, comment, criticism. Like the man said, you can say anything you want bad about me. Just don't dog old Blue Boy. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. UNO, going back to the LSU system. UNO is the University of New Orleans. By default, they should have a pretty solid enrollment. I want to go to school at UNO. I'll never forget a buddy of mine who went to LSU, literally was from Miami, saw the Loyola guide and enrolled at at Loyola in New Orleans. When he got to New Orleans for the first time, he freaked out. He's like, I thought this was on the beach like Miami. Because in the Florida book, in the Loyola little book he got, it had spring breakers on the beach in Destin, a photo of that. And he ended up at LSU just for different reasons, but it's just funny. So, he was coming to Loyola because he thought New Orleans was on the Gulf and the beach. Whatever the reason, he didn't go, oh, God, it's not, and went back to Miami. Stayed for a few years, loved it, ended up getting a job in Baton Rouge, different business. The point is, people want to come to New Orleans. When you're out of town in another state, or if you've ever been out of the country, in another country, and someone says, where are you from? And you say New Orleans, people perk up. They make a comment. Wow, they have a question for you. You say you're from St. Louis or Cleveland or Detroit or Pittsburgh or Philly, or no one gives a crap. Denver, Seattle, no one cares. No one cares. Now I was with a buddy of mine. We're at Peter Luger's Steakhouse in New York. I'm with, I guess, either my former wife or a girlfriend or something. And my buddy lives up there and he's with his girlfriend or wife. And we're sitting down, we're eating. And the, server was Croatian or something. And I just said something I know a lot of Croatians from where I'm from. He's like, where's that? And I'll go, New Orleans. And just New Orleans. And the whole thing just took off. And then my friend's girlfriend or wife said, I'm from wherever she's from. And I didn't say anything, but I wanted to go, yeah, no one cares. No one cares. No offense. That's a great place where you're from. I'm not knocking it, but New Orleans is special. People are like, wow, you're from New Orleans. It'd be like saying you're from Paris. It's got cachet. UNO by default should be a monster school. I keep bringing up Orlando and Tampa, Florida, the University of South Florida, the University of Central Florida. They each have 70,000 students because they went from being a Orlando, Tampa commuter school for those cities, commuter like UNO, to a regional school in the state, all of a sudden a statewide school, then the southern region, then the nation, then international. 70,000 plus students each. Let me get the exact numbers so I'm not spouting off nonsense. Enrollment, University of Central Florida. Come on, AI. I want to know how many students. How many students at Central Florida University? I'm sorry, I said 72,000, right? 70,000, I said. It's 69,818. I was 182 off. 69,818 at the University of Central Florida. So 70,000 at the University of Central Florida. How many students are enrolled at the University of South Florida? They've got...
I would think less than that.
Yeah, they do. They've got 50,000. So one's got 70. South Florida serves more than 50,000 students. So one's got 50,000, one's got 70,000. I mean, UNO should have, 20 years ago, I had about 18,000. UNO should have like 30 or 40,000 students. And UNO should have football. And it's not because I want to go to the UNO football games. Strictly from a marketing standpoint. That is it. That is the only reason. Strictly from a marketing standpoint. And when UNO's got less than 6,000 students, and it's really a commuter school, I mean, I don't know what the average age of UNO students are. You don't leave it up to the students to vote if you're going to have football or not. Not when like a private entity was going to build the football stadium. No, UNO should have football strictly for marketing purposes. UNO could field a competitive team. I hate to keep using the word by default, but almost by default, just picking up the scraps in New Orleans and Louisiana that LSU and Tulane and La Tech and Nichols and McNeese don't. They'd be competing at a lower level. They could build the program, but it's all about marketing. It's all about marketing and giving the student body something to do. So UNO going back to the LSU system, do you think that's going to help UNO? 766-9480s, 80. 766-9480, 80s. I'm jumping ahead to Buc-ees.
I went back to the 80s for a second there.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking Buc-ees. Buc-ees is open in Mississippi. Mario Brothers, a.k.a. Latinx, likes Buc-ees. He says he'll be there within a month or so.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow, Miss Peaches will be running the controls. She loves Buc-ees. The show host of the program, he went to Buc-ees once outside of Houston. He's like, why do I need to go to Buc-ees again? Anyway, people love Buc-ees. Brisket on the board. That location, we talk about Ninth Ward, no grocery store. Southern Mississippi, no restaurants. No restaurants. Now, folks are going to, Corey, Bay St. Louis has some good restaurants. Pass Christian, Long Beach. You're right. There's a handful of restaurants. One could argue that the Gulf Coast of Mississippi has better restaurants than the Panhandle of Florida. Easily, you could argue that, especially with some of the steakhouse restaurants that the casinos have in Biloxi. Let's just say there's not an abundance of great restaurants or high-end restaurants on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, like a place like Diamond Head where a buddy of mine lives. I dog him all the time. Like, I couldn't live there for a minute. There's like not one good place to eat at Diamond Head. Not at the clubhouse, not any of the restaurants at Diamond Head, none of it. Not like by a New Orleans boys standard, you know? So there's like a restaurant, you know, glut. Or let me say this, the restaurants that are there that are sort of mediocre, they survive. Buc-ees, brisket on the board, and tacos and brisket sandwiches and Buc-ees, you know, nuggets for dessert, things of that nature. Folks are going to flock from that whole area around there. Hundreds of thousands of folks. When you consider, you know, Waveland, Pass Christian, Bay St. Louis, Long Beach, Gulfport, Biloxi, Diamond Head, Kiln, all those places. They're all going to flock to the Buc-ees for brisket off the board. And then just the I-10 travelers, it's in a prime spot. The next Buc-ees is way over in Alabama by Foley. That's got to be about, I'm guessing, guess that's, give me a little mileage on that. Pass Christian to Foley, Alabama.
Okay.
It's got to be about 80 miles. I don't think Buc-ees would put two Buc-ees any closer than 80 or 90 miles.
Past Christian, roughly 25 miles, and would take about 35 to 40 minutes, depending on traffic.
To Foley, Alabama?
Foley, Alabama, from past Christian, Mississippi, yeah.
How many miles total?
It says roughly 25 miles and takes about 35 to 40 minutes. according to the AI overview.
No, I think that's way off. I'm going to have to do this myself, my brother.
This second one says 93.45 miles.
That sounds more right.
Yes.
Past Christian, Mississippi to Foley, Alabama.
So Foley, Alabama, home of the tossed rolls. Yes.
This thing is saying 124 miles.
Dude, AI, it helps, but it hurts sometimes.
That might be right. I mean, 124 miles, that's 2 hours roughly.
What are we doing? Got maps.
Anyway. So we're getting all kind of different numbers. No, that's the closest one. And then the other one's like outside of Houston.
Mm-hmm.
But they are building one in Lafayette, a monster in Lafayette. And they're building one up in Bossier by Shreveport. So Louisiana will have two. Buc-ees is a-coming. Open for business in Mississippi. Will you be going? 766-9480. $2 million the city gave to Nora. I think they spent $600,000 on a study as to why there's no grocery store in New Orleans East, like the lower Ninth Ward. I think they could have saved like $550,000 of that $600,000. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand, and doled it out to like Donnie Rouse at Rouse's or Bromart folks or Langenstein's or Robert's or, Conseco. Any of these local grocery stores that have multiple locations. Guys, I'm sure some of you have done a study on the lower Ninth Ward. You're always trying to expand and find a viable place for another store. Why didn't you go to the lower Ninth Ward? I think everybody knows the answer. And it has nothing to do with race or color of skin. Some of you sick folks out there just love the lowest common denominator. Go look in the mirror yourself. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. You might not like that reflection. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Total maintenance, keep you
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Thoughtful conversation, common sense. Corey Johnson.
With all due respect, Mr. Dennis, I had no idea you'd gotten experimental surgery to have your removed.
Live streaming at CoreyTalks.com.
What was that? Oh, I said with all due respect.
Looking for something good tonight for dinner, Katie's in Mid-City. I say with all due respect. As New Orleans as it gets, Iberville, corner Telemachus, big portions, great for sharing. You know what Scott Craig's got lined up for you. Probably like flounder, speckled trout, soft shell crabs, and limited numbers. I got 15 flounder fillets. I got 13 soft shell crabs. I got 11 speckled trout fillets, that type of thing. More is better. More of the good things. Katie's tonight for dinner. Dinner problem solved on a Monday night. Heading to Katie's. It is Monday afternoon, 5 o'clock powwow, heading towards 6 o'clock. Brett Martell joins us from the Associated Press. What up, Brett?
Hey, Corey, how are you?
Doing well, man. Hey, let's start off things this way instead of ending them this way. How can folks check out your articles, your columns via the AP?
The best way nowadays with the smartphone, the AP News app is free, and it gives you news from all over the world, not just what I'm doing. So I just highly recommend that for anyone who wants to be a well-rounded individual, but also be able to read what I'm doing down here.
Hey, Brett, what's going on with the Saints? What is like rookie OTAs? Now it's full-blown mini camp next, everybody?
Yeah, mandatory mini camp Tuesday through Thursday. So we might finally see Alvin Kamara and a few others be able to catch up with them and get a sense of how they feel about where the team's headed here.
And you're probably going to have, with those veterans, a rookie from Louisville playing quarterback, right?
Well, I think they're going to be rotating like they have been with Spencer Rattler. And maybe Jake Tainer will get back in the mix. I know he's been dealing with his oblique, but he has been at practice and kind of taking mental reps the entire time. So he's eager to get back in the fold when he can, but that might not be until training camp. But yeah, Rattler's been working with the ones a lot, and I think they'll continue to do that all the way up through the first half of training camp, or at least going into the first preseason game.
So mini camp tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday?
That's right.
And then training camp cranks up what, Brett, in about 5 weeks? 6 weeks?
Yeah, usually the middle of, it's usually the middle or the end of the second to last week in July.
Wow.
You know,
coming quick.
And then, yeah.
I mean, we're like 8 or 9 weeks away from preseason game number 1.
Yeah, it kind of comes up faster than you expect, but
damn,
in between, I guess everyone's got to get their vacation in.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Hey, Brett, NBA Finals all knotted up at 1 apiece. What have you learned after the first 2 games?
Well, it's just what's compelling about it is that Oklahoma City is a really good defensive team, and Indiana is a really good offensive team. Oklahoma City has looked like the better team overall in the two games. You know, they kind of maybe collapsed or allowed a big comeback in game one. It was kind of a miraculous comeback, really. And they took care of business in game two. It'll be interesting to see how it goes on the road in Indiana. But I don't know. Overall, it looks like Oklahoma City is a more complete team, both offensively and defensively. And I would probably give them the edge in the series, but I wouldn't, rule out Indiana, the Pacers, giving them a run for it just because they can score so many points and they've been really clutch at the end of the game.
Brett, I don't watch much golf. I play golf. But I do like the majors and I like the Zurich. I'll be watching this week and even more excited than normal. This Oakmont course looks insanely tough. Some of these pros are saying like the toughest golf course on the planet right now. Tight fairways, insanely gnarly, deep rough, greens that are lightning fast. I think you're going to have a winning score of like 3 or 4 under, something like that. I don't think they're going deep on this course. There's no way.
Yeah, and it's kind of a novelty to see that nowadays, isn't it? Because there's a bunch of tournaments where they're in the teens under par.
Exactly.
Majors. Even in 20, right up like to 20.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, they're go deep into the 20s on some of these country club tour stops, and there's majors where they're getting into the teens or, at least double digits. And it's not supposed to be that way at the majors. 6, 7, 8 under par should be as bad as it gets. But I think this week, I don't see how the pros are going to be able to, go out there and dominate it. I don't think anyone's going to put in 4 great rounds of golf. I think it's who doesn't have the bad round, the bad hole, the bad shot. It's kind of that course plays you, Brett. You got to kind of just see if you can hang, I think. I don't think you can proactively be aggressive out there.
Probably not. And I think that the cool thing about courses like that is that, 4-shot lead going into the back 9 isn't necessarily safe. Because any hole can be a blow-up hole.
Yep.
If you're bad off the tee, you can get in some real trouble, and it's going to come down to how they manage that trouble. How they mitigate the damage.
Watching these videos I've seen just the last few days of balls being hand dropped into the rough, and you can't see them unless you're on top of them. There's no way to advance that ball, Brett. It's a full swing just to hack it back into place. So a lot of these pros are going to be scrambling to go up and down from the fairway just to save par.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Bryson DeChambeau's style worked. People said it couldn't work, but then he won a U.S. Open. And so we'll have to see how he manages that aspect when his drives do go wrong.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
He just feels like he's close enough. He doesn't need.
Yeah, no, maybe he'll hit like an iron, like a stinger just to keep it in play. Get it 280 yards out there. Hey, Brett, always a pleasure, man.
All right, great show, Corey. Take care.
That's Brett Martell from the Associated Press. Mario Brothers, a.k.a. Latinx, will be back on Wednesday. I'll be back tomorrow with Miss Peaches. Straight up 4 o'clock. Be here.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. Radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.